Perfect. So this week's guest is a very exciting performer who is one of the future staple leading ladies on Broadway and beyond. You know her as Cher or perhaps as Lucille Frank in the Broadway bound Parade. Welcome to Take a Bow, Micaela Diamond.
I'm
Hi.
blushing.
Oh
Thank
my god.
you.
Yes, oh my god. No, thank you for coming on here. I'm very excited to talk to you. You've been a highly requested guest from the listeners, so very exciting to actually have you on.
I love a little podcast moment. I'm
Oh, yeah.
one of those odd people who kind of can talk about myself for a while. It's probably because I've done so many years of therapy, but this this is where I sit, baby.
It's something about, being like a performer where it's just like, we tell stories of like we put ourselves into other people's shoes all the time. So when we can talk about ourselves, we're like, "Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Let me chat it up."
I think I'm also just a theater nerd at heart. So like
Oh, yeah.
if people want to know process, all right, I'm down.
Totally, totally. And so talking about being a theater nerd, I mean, how did this whole thing start? Like how did we get here? What got you interested in the theater and in telling stories and all the things?
Yeah, I loved theater since I was so young, but I think dance was really the kind of way in for me. I was
Oh,
dancer first for many a year, guys. Which is
wow.
so funny to think back on. But anyway, yeah, I danced a lot when I was little, starting at like 3, and then slowly got into singing lessons, and then was doing the whole thing for many years. But my mom created a little dance studio for me in my hometown in Margate, New Jersey, which is about 5 minutes away from Atlantic City, which is a little more well known than Margate.
Yeah.
And 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 we just had such a fun time, like hiring the teachers, and you create such a community at a studio, and I will like forever love my mother for doing that. But so then we moved to New York when I was about 10. I did a show over the summer, like a community theater show in New York City. And
Sure.
we got back to Margate, and in the middle of my 7th grade, my mom was like, should we just should we just go live in New York? And I was
Oh my
like,
god.
yes, yes. And we picked up my shit and we moved to New York, and then we got here and I was like, I don't want to audition. I'm depressed. I don't like the city.
Yep.
Which is funny because now thinking to all my friends who just graduated college the past few years, they're kind of having a similar experience.
Sure.
Like they've wanted to live in the city for so long, they're finally here and not having to travel for auditions and all the things. And you get here and you're just like, it's freaking overwhelming. Can you
Yeah.
on your podcast? Sorry, I should have asked that.
It's totally okay.
Good. So, yeah, yeah. So, I think I kind of had that experience, and thankfully my mom was so, like, not she's not a theater person at all. So, she was just like, "Yeah, do whatever you want you wanna do." Like, so I just kind of, tried to work through it.
Amazing.
And, and then eventually I got the pang again, of course, and I went
Sure.
to LaGuardia for high school, which was a theater
Okay.
school, and I majored in drama there. And, like, loved it so much, like, did shows every single year. I worked with kids theater, which is another community theater, like, always doing
Oh,
things. I
yes.
just did, like, a massive like, I peaked, like, my resume
Yeah.
we were just talking about this the other day, but my resume in high school was, like, epic,
Yeah,
epic.
for sure. What high schooler theater kid didn't peak in high school?
I know.
Like
Do the best shit, and it's almost disappointing when you have to audition for
Yeah.
these new shows when you get out, because 'cause you're like, "Nothing is as good as playing Margaret in The Light in the Piazza at 16 years old." Like, I
Right.
was amazing.
So real. So real.
I'm just kidding. I didn't feel amazing about that performance, but there were a few that
So I have so many questions.
okay.
So you and your mom started like a little dance studio and just like up and left?
We literally did. We
What?
we ran it for
Oh
3
my gosh.
years. She gratefully like, we kind of broke even with the studio. We didn't make any money,
Yeah.
but I loved it. I kind of had grown out of all the dance studios in my neighborhood, and
Uh-huh.
so she was like, "Let's make one that challenges you more." And so she hired all the
Wow.
teachers. She's not a teacher at all, so she taught yoga in the studio for a while.
Period.
And
Yep.
Pierce. And so yeah, we had such a good time, and she's always kind of we like home for us have always just been like us. So like
Right.
I moved so much as a kid, like always kind of picking up and moving to the point where like I don't think it was one of those things where I just if I had her, I was fine, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, we lived on Roosevelt Island for a year, like,
Oh,
that's,
wow.
like, legendary for
Yeah.
travelers, like, if you know what Roosevelt Island is, like, no one lives there, but we lived there, you know?
We
It's crazy.
totally.
But yeah, we've
Wow.
always kinda just, tried to be like, "What's moving us? What's, like, making our hearts happy?" She's, like, kind of a
Totally.
older hippie in that way. Um,
That's amazing.
I've kind of
That's the best way to be.
too. Yeah, like during the pandemic, I was like, "Meh, I'll go to cooking school." You know, it was like really like
Yes.
I'm always like, "What's the next thing? What's the next thing?"
Right, totally. And then you said you went to LaGuardia. I went to PPAS. So LaGuardia is like not a good taste. No, just kidding.
Okay, the only reason you're gonna be happy about this is
Uh-huh.
because I went to PPAS for middle school.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
I'll take it.
I went for 8th grade, and to be honest, like, loved PPAS. I loved it.
Yeah,
If you don't know, PPAS is a professional performing arts school, and it's on 45th Street, like, or 47th or something.
48th.
Okay, wow. Wow, it's been a second.
Doing great.
Right, take up the whole block. All I remember is it took me, like, approximately 5 minutes to get to Broadway Dance Center every day, so, like, it was fierce. But anyway,
Yes.
I loved PPAS, and funnily enough, although LaGuardia High School is the famed school, I'm using quotes for all your listeners,
Oh,
it was
she's
it was filmed at PPAS.
okay. She's clearing it. She's clearing it up for
Little
us.
fun
I
fact
love it.
for everyone, okay?
So true. And that's why PPAS is salty about LaGuardia, but it's fine. It's fine.
I know,
It's
well,
totally okay.
and it's true, it's hard because like, I left with all my friends, like,
Oh, yeah.
my whole friend group left and went to LaGuardia, which is cool when you're, like, going into a high school with all your friends, but, like,
Right.
all of there were, like, probably, like, you know, there's, like, 10 out of 30 who, like, stay, and they're, like, so
Yeah.
salty. There's not a rivalry because both schools are amazing in different ways, but I will say, like, some of my favorite teachers were at PPAS, like Mr.
Oh, for
Parenti,
sure.
love,
King.
shout out to Mr. Parenti, Mr. Pleasant, like, he kept
Yes.
my ass in shape. If you went to PPAS, like, you have abs, like, some of
Real.
them below all of the other things, like, you have middle school abs, like, he worked you, you know? It was just I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh my god, stop. This is everything right now because could never relate to something more. Um, so true. I'm gonna go see Mr. Pleasant and he's doing Rent, and we're gonna
Oh,
go see the main stage, my class. We're gonna take a little field trip.
so fun.
Um,
What class are
yeah.
you in? Like, where are you with Drew Menard? Like, how old are you?
Oh, I so he was I'm 19, so he was like Kyle's like little assistant
Oh,
when
wow,
I was
work.
in middle
Okay.
school. Like he was like a senior or something, and he was
You're
like
a
my
baby too. Drew was a year younger than me, I think.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just missed
Love Drew.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's an icon, and it's just so funny. But he was the one because I'm no dancer. I wasn't a Micaela Diamond dancer when I was a kid. Like I was with Drew like every minute I had, and was like, okay, I'm too scared of Kyle, so like, can you help me out?
Oh, bless
It
him.
was
Yeah.
yeah, no, but Drew he's so sweet. So funny that you have these experiences, and then of course, like I don't know, like PPAS, I feel like is such like not like a joke of a school because it's not, but like the performing arts is so serious that like the academics are just like not the best. So like I'm curious to know what that flip was going from PPAS to LaGuardia.
It's funny, like, I had a similar experience academically at both schools.
Really?
I don't know, I think people would disagree with me, but I I have never really thought of myself as, get ready to roll your eyes, as, like, a smart person or a talented person. I've always just thought of myself as a really hard worker. So
Period.
and and, um, and a copier, if I'm being quite honest. So, like, no, I don't mean, like, copying, like, answers. I guess I mean, like
Yes, we do. No.
I mean, sometimes. But I mean, like, I got straight A's, but it
Yeah,
wasn't because I was smart, it was because, like, I knew how to navigate the system.
totally.
Like, you know, I would do homework in the class, like, if they give you the homework, I'm obviously doing it while we sit. Like
Right.
like, so then it was like I was never late. Like, think like little things. Like I just felt I knew how I knew how to memorize for one. So like
Yes.
English was easy. I don't know. And I did love school. Like I loved being a student, but
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really felt smart at either school.
Yeah. No, felt that. I mean, you were too busy playing Miss Margaret in Lights of Piazza to have time to do homework
That was
after class.
surely that was my priority. Yes.
Yes, of course. No, literally. That is the priority.
Yeah.
Like that's why we go to those schools
Oh,
and they still want to give us homework. What is this? No, anyways. Loving it. I love that whole journey for you. And so tell me, I mean, you were like basically in high school, right? When Cher came into your life. Was it a little after?
yeah, no, it was right towards the end of my, spring semester in senior year. So I had like already known I was going to Carnegie Mellon and I was
Oh
really
yeah.
excited and I did speaking of my resume from high school, I did wait, this is such a side note, but I think it's so funny.
I'm
So
here for
the
it.
other day, they were like requesting my bio information for like the parade press release
Yeah.
and I like my manager wrote it or something and I was reading it to like make sure it was okay and I was like, "Oh my god, the last line was like from a very old bio that said like favorite roles include Louise and Gypsy and Margaret," and like I was like, "No,
No.
no, no, cut, 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 cut." Meanwhile, like Ben's resume is like 9 pages long, like Madison Square Garden, etc., etc. I was like, "We need to cut all the favorite.
Right.
We're doing what
Oh my god.
professionally. Like this is over." Um, it was so embarrassing. Anyway, what was I saying?
Iconic.
So
No, you're doing great, you're doing great. I was just, asking when Cher came into your
yeah,
life and
okay.
what that was like for you.
The reason I thought of it was because I was doing Louise in Gypsy, my
Okay.
favorite role apparently, and so one of the agents from CESD came to see it,
Oh
and
my god.
we are you with them too?
We love CESD,
We
yes.
love we work PPAS. Anyway, so so she came and we started talking and freelancing over the summer, which essentially is just like I wasn't signing with them because I was going to Carnegie Mellon.
Mhm.
I was kind of BFA or die, so I was like, I don't need to sign. Like I want to go to school. Um,
Obsessed. Great.
and I think I'm talking in the right tone for your listeners. I couldn't tell you.
Absolutely, oh my god.
And so yeah, so I started auditioning for them, and one of the few auditions, honestly, I went into over the summer was the Cher Show, and it was
Got it.
just me and Pat Goodwin in a room
Y
together,
King.
and and honestly, like I didn't want to go in because I just was like so embarrassed, like like you're like I'm not doing work that's character actressy. Like, I was,
Mm,
grounded, close to self. Okay. And it's
sure.
one semester of far away. It was just like, I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself with like a, bad share impression. Like this feels
Right.
crazy. So but I went in and like made a fool of myself. To be honest, I didn't really do a share impression. I kind of just like tried to be me with like, slight little things. And like,
Sure.
yeah. So I did it for Pat, got a call back and was like, "Oh my lord, what's happening?" It was
Not this.
went in for this beautiful, massive team, like huge fan of Rick Ellis, like who wrote Peter and the
Yes.
Starcatcher. I was just like, "Oh my god, this is crazy." Um, and this is a fun story maybe for your listeners, but I had to sing "Song for the Lonely," which is the Act 1 finale of our show.
Uh-huh.
I think. Oh my god, it's been years. But anyway, so I was singing this song, and I have this kind of high belty note that goes into the if I'm whatever. So I
Yes.
I was having to sing the if you like know it, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So I had to sing this like massive high note and like couldn't sing it. And I told her I was like, I can't like my voice doesn't do that. Like I was a soprano. Like I don't know what's going
Yeah.
on. But
Real.
they're like, "Oh, just try it." So
Great.
I sing it and crack. Like I can't sing it. Like it's just not my voice. and the pianist, bless his fucking heart, I don't know who it was, but, like, you saved my career. He tur
Oh.
he turned around to one of the, bigger, higher up people who, were running the room and was just like, "Why don't we just lower it a key?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Yes, bless,
Amen.
bless."
Right.
And so they lowered it one key, and I, like, sang the shit out of it. It's just like,
Yes!
have a break, okay?
Can
Like,
we normalize this, please?
I I am not an alphabet. Like, I can't
Right.
sing my whole range. Like, I pop off after, like, C sharp. Like, I can't do that. So
Sure.
so they made it a C sharp, okay?
Yes.
And I sang down, and they were like, "Okay, work. Thank you so much." And then I went to Israel for my birthright. And
Yes,
then
come
I
on.
knew that I was gonna have, like, one final callback right after that, just a kind of work session with the director. Did this amazing
Uh-huh.
work session, which I was really excited about because 'cause I've always loved, like, playing and taking notes and being in a room with someone with,
Yeah.
like, kind of less pressure. And we had the best time, and then I got the job, like, 30 minutes later. It was a wild, amazing audition experience.
Yeah.
I was also, like, which happens every time. I'm sure everybody has said this on this podcast, but it's one of those things where you, like, fantasize about what your life will be like if you get the job, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like, "Oh god, like, am I not going to Carnegie Mellon? Like, should I come home from Israel early? Like, what's the deal here?" Um,
Right.
but this one was real crazy, and I fantasized, and it all came true, and I didn't go to
It all worked
school, and
out.
now we're here. It's crazy.
And now we're here. And now you're about to star in your second Broadway show. Not a big deal. Amazing. That's so cool. So this was all for like the reading, right? Or was this for the like production out of town or Broadway or whatever? You were in it from the
This
beginning, right?
Yeah, this was for the lab, uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did the
Okay.
lab, and yeah, you're right, I, like, left school to do a 4-week lab, not a
Wow.
production, which was a little risque, but I think I was never gonna pass the opportunity up to not
No.
be in a room with Stephanie J. Block, you know what I mean?
Oh my god, queen, icon. But also it's just like, you're young enough too where it's like you can take those risks, like you can still you're fine,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah, but I loved it. I had, like, the best time
Yeah.
in that lab and, felt, like, over the moon and, like, I was living, my dream.
Okay, so real talk, because I couldn't imagine doing this. Was it like nerve-wracking when Cher came to like be Cher in front of her?
It's funny, everyone has always asked me this, and
Okay, I'm
I wish
sorry.
no, 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 not it's a great question. I've, like, thought about it a lot, but I
Uh-huh.
think for some reason at that point in my life when I was like stepping into those kinds of rooms without any experience, I
Right.
the only way in my head I think I was like able to process it was just by like jumping off the mountain. I was like, I'm not going to show up and be like degrading myself or nervous all the time. Like I'm not going to be able to do good work. So I just kind of faked it
Right.
till I made it in a way. Um
Yeah.
and and so when Cher came, like, Stephanie was more nervous than me.
Yeah.
For the first time, I'm, like, starting to understand that because
Yeah.
not to start talking about Parade, but it is this weird thing where, like, when you have such a like, I've literally been in business for, like, 3 years, but when you have a history, like, when people have already seen you perform and whatever, there's so much more pressure for you to, like,
Uh,
deliver what your thing is. And
Interesting.
I think that related to Cher in some way because it was just like Cher was new, had never seen Stephanie perform, etc. But like Stephanie was still trying to deliver. It was many things. Like, so yes, of course I was nervous, but I also was like, I had nothing to lose. Like I had
Right.
never done this before. I had
Totally.
no expectations. And so I was just like, again, like work hard, watch as many videos of her as possible, try to like sing and blend with Stephanie, like do watch Stephanie and do what she's doing. Like that's what I did with Margaret. You just watch.
Sure.
I'm definitely like a copier when it comes to
Yeah.
acting. Like I was saying, like I like to watch and take. So like this was kind of perfect because I literally could like watch my older self in quotes take
Right.
and then try and deliver what Stephanie was delivering, but in my
Wow.
body, right? And put some of my, youth into it, which was exactly where what the character was. Um,
Yeah.
so and I felt supported in the room. Like Rick Ellis is such a mentor of mine, and he wrote the show for me. Like there would be lines and it would be like, I said that, I
Yeah.
accidentally forgot the line and now that's the line. It was like little things
Oh,
like that, and I loved that. I loved being so supported by the team, and they were they were good to us in during that lab. Like I really felt like I was doing okay. And Stephanie was there for me since day one. So,
yeah.
I just kind of tried to do my work, but was I nervous for Cher? Not really. Like
Yeah.
she's on another planet.
Right.
Like, you just can't touch her. Like, I knew, which is funny because I wish I knew this more now, but I knew this when I was 18. I was like, you cannot control what she thinks of you.
Right.
You just can't control it. And to be honest, you can't control what anyone thinks of you.
Mhm.
Which is what the advice I'm giving myself is now.
Yes, come on, practice what you preach. We're
Oh god.
doing it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's crazy. I wonder too, like, if it's, like, kind of like a generational thing, because like, I didn't know like, I obviously knew Cher, but I didn't know, like, all of her songs until the show came around, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like,
how
it
I
was
felt too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a fan, to be quite honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
And well, yes. Okay, fair enough. And so with Cher too, I wonder because, you know, so obviously like I was doing shows when I was very young and like I was a kid. You were very much an adult when you were doing Cher and everything. But there's times in this industry where it's like, there's the kids and then there's the adults and there's like this weird like dynamic in shows and all the things. So I'm curious, like, were there any moments like through the industry as like a young performer where you've been like, oh, where you felt like a kid or something like that, or you've been treated like one?
That's a great question. I actually say the opposite. I got so lucky in the Cher show.
Oh, it's
We were
amazing.
directly our theater in the Neil Simon was directly across the street from August Wilson where Mean Girls was. And I
Um,
got close to a few people in that cast, and
Amazing.
they did not have that kind of
Uh oh.
experience because the whole cast was young.
Right.
So it was, not that that breeds drama, but in our company, everyone had a family to go home to at the end of the night. They were married.
Sure.
No one was like getting drunk. Like snobs in our company were like fun.
Right.
But snobs are Saturday night on Broadway. Sometimes you'll like meet with your cast after the night show to like toast the week or whatever. Um,
Sure.
and they were fun, but it was all like moms like heading out, like good show.
Aw,
And you're like, love
so
you.
cute.
You know what I mean? Like it was so sweet, but like everyone had lives, and I was like by far the youngest person in that cast. And so
Right.
but I loved that. I've always been friends with adults, which is strange. But I do like I was really close with Stephanie and Teal and Dee and Jared. Like those were kind
Uh
like
huh.
I loved hanging out with them all the time, and
Right.
the reason why I loved it, to get back to your question, is they never made me feel like a kid.
Oh,
They never in a way that was like when I needed someone to be like, "Give yourself a break, you're 19." That was
right.
helpful, but then anytime else, it was like, I was treated at the same level as what do I mean by that? Like for press, for interviews, it was like, yeah, you're waking up at 6 a.m., of course, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
we were all just like working really hard and beating the ground, and I wasn't doing like extra work because I was younger. Like, yeah, it was all just like we were all in it together.
Yeah.
And I loved the way they mentored me. Like I look
Mm-hmm.
back on that experience, and you know I just learned so much just by watching
Oh,
them do their thing. And anytime I was anxious or, having a moment, you know, this is always what I go back to, but where I was forgetting my lines and was after like 7 months, I was like, what's happening? Or I had chronic hip pain and they would send me to their healer. Like
Oh, yeah.
everyone was just like, everyone had resources and you just got to
Mm.
ask for help because things happen to your body when you're under that kind of stress and 8 show week schedule. And I was like, what's happening? You know, and they were all like, yeah, welcome. Here are all these resources. And I was
Right.
like, I'm going to take all of them and use them and show up the best I can. Um, but yeah, they were amazing to me. I never really felt like I was treated like a little kid. Um,
Sure.
yeah, I like can't even give you one example.
That's
It makes
amazing.
me so happy. I've never felt that way.
Ugh, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I asked the question because there obviously have been days that I felt that way, but it's never been like from the cast, Like the cast has always been so welcoming, Like they've all understood that like, we're one. Like we're a team, we're telling this story together. But more of like from stage management or the child wranglers that they would bring on, like I cuz just like like I tend to do better with adults. Like kids conversations, I'm not into it. Like I can't give anything, because they want to talk about video games or something like that. And I'm just like, so today's New York Times crossword puzzle or something like that, Like it's
I'm
just
similar
something.
I'm similar, but I will say I taught a lot over the pandemic to kids because I needed
Okay.
income. And, I at first, like, I didn't really like it. It felt like this kind of job, and I just, like, needed money. But I have
Yeah.
to tell you, like, I love it now. I love teaching these kids. Like, I've
Ah,
pulled back now because 'cause I'm getting a little bit busier, but I don't know, like, helping someone choose their college audition song
yes.
and, or just someone who, like, wants to sing for fun, and I don't do a lot of, like, one-offs. I have, like, students who stay with me for a long time. I've had
Sure.
people who've been with me now for, like, 3 years, and I'm just like, they're doing great, I love
Yeah.
watching the journey of it, and I love seeing it's like me when I was in high school, like, everything is so important. This audition is more important than anything in the world, and I've
Yeah.
never of course, I feel the stakes of real auditioning, if you wanna call it real, but but the truth of those, like, big feelings when you're in high school and love theater so much, like, they're incomparable, and I
Yeah.
love kind of being reminded of that as slightly older as a old woman, you know what I mean? It's just like it's so nice to remember how much people love it, and now I'm doing it, like, in real
Yeah.
time. It's like it's such a beautiful thing to remind yourself of.
Totally, totally, totally. Okay, so here we are now, and you just finished a run at New York City Center, which I came on this podcast and raved about. Both you and Ben, you guys are just pros, so good. The whole cast was amazing at City Center. And yeah, talk to me about that experience because you've been with that now for a couple of years in labs and readings or whatever before it made its way over. So talk to me about your whole journey with Parade.
We actually didn't do much. So, essentially, the journey goes,
Yeah.
I got a call the day after I opened the Cher show.
No.
On a Monday,
Oh my god.
and my agents were like, "How are you? The party was so fun last night." I'm going on and on. I'm like, "It was so fun, and Kim Kardashian was there, and Decca Dad was there, and I had
Stop
the
it.
best time." And they were like, Michaela. Sorry, I'm just sorry to interrupt. So we actually aren't calling to just chat and congratulate you. We need you to audition tomorrow for Parade." And I was like, "Uh, okay, the work begins, the work begins. So
Right.
so they said, like, "Can you learn it, like, in that time?" And I was like,
Oh, man.
"Oh my god, I am memorized. Like, I'm off book. Like, I fucking love Parade, okay?"
Oh.
I go over it. I'm like, I haven't sung this probably since some day in high school in, like, the basement of LaGuardia, like, for fun. But,
Yes.
with my friend Gabby. We always did that. So anyway, so we're like I'm having like a field day with all the material. Essentially, my audition is like sing all the material. So I
Amazing.
go in and Jason apparently approves me, however that process goes. And then
Uh-huh.
the following day, or like the next week, we start. It was like whirlwind, like so
Wow.
fast. They're like, Ben Platt's your Leo. I'm like, okay, I just shit myself. So
Right.
I come into rehearsal. The little girls, get this. Here's a fun fact for your listeners.
Uh-huh.
The little girl was played by Renee Rapp.
Oh my god, really?
Thank you. Crazy.
Thank you.
Truly,
You're welcome.
truly crazy. This is a crazy fun fact. Okay, so anyway, I don't even know if
Wow.
I'm allowed to say that, but it's fine. So we
I knew she was involved with it, but I didn't realize she was the little girl.
crazy. Like
Yeah,
I'm 19 years old playing Lucille. Like,
right.
this is unheard of. Like, so strange. So we do this workshop. Of course, workshops are fast and furious. We're all standing at stands. There's no choreography or staging or anything of that kind, but we learn all the music and we do it once for like 30 people from Roundabout.
Mm,
Um, I don't know what that means, but this is what I was told. So
okay.
essentially Roundabout has to do a certain number of readings per year for all of their investors, aka rich white people sitting on the board, to like
Right.
choose shows. Okay. So I was like, I think people love this show. I think people just wanted to, it's beloved. It's
Mhm.
beloved in the theater community, and it did not, get its moment in 1999. It was like literally a flop, almost. You could say that, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
It
No, you could totally say that.
Yeah, it ran for like 4 months or something.
It was, like, past it was, like, before its time, like, people weren't ready for it.
No, and we can get into that discussion more too. But yes, I don't think America was like ready for this show.
Right.
So we did this fast workshop, and and then nothing ever happened. Like, I never got a call. 3 years, 4
Mm.
years went by. Like, literally, it was just, I thought literally it ended up being like a passion project. It was so strange. Like,
Oh,
I
wow.
know that's not true, but that's how I thought about it in my head. Like, I never heard anything.
Right.
Granted, I loved doing it. It was
Yeah.
like, it just didn't come back around, and there's so many workshops you do as an actor. Like, you just do workshop and lab, and one out of the 7 you do come back around. You're like, "Okay, parade is dead in the freaking water," okay?
Sure.
Then last year, in like March of last year, randomly get a call from my agent manager, and they're like, "Hey, conference call," which means I booked something. I was like, "Did I audition for something like that I can even book?" Like, they
Yep.
so they put
Real.
conference call, and they're like, "So, parade, we're back. City Center. You have the offer."
Wow.
I was like sobbing. I was like, "What's happening?" Like, I was with Erica Henningsen actually, and she was like,
Yes.
couldn't we were both just like, "What is going on?" Like, it was crazy.
Right.
I
Wow.
and I knew it was like, I knew people were gonna go ape. Like, this is such
Yeah.
a great show, It's like, I couldn't believe they just offered it to me. I was like, "You don't want
Yeah.
Are you sure? Like, what if I'm not good anymore?" Exactly how I'm
Come
feeling
on.
right now. Like, clearly
Stop
this is
it.
a pattern. So anyway, Ben and I were so excited. We, like, went to drink. It was just like, "Oh my god, this is crazy."
Oh.
And we waited, which was great because I love having prep time. So I had from like literally March to September to kind of prep for this massive role. We were also now perfectly age ranged for it. Like, we were
Right.
a little young before, and now we're kind of like exactly in the pocket. Um, which is awesome. So, yeah, it was so exciting. And then City Center, if you don't know, is like a 10-day rehearsal
Oh
process,
my god. Yeah.
which is crazy. And usually they're not necessarily staged to the death, but Michael Arden can't help himself and is a genius, and so we staged it to the death. Um,
Yes.
and it was freaking beautiful. I think easy because, like, literally Ben and I have known it. Like, we know this show
Yeah.
in our bones, and came in day one like, this is our backstory. We're like, what's the secret? what is she waiting
Yeah.
for at the beginning? Like we're just like talking. Like it was so fun to explore it with Michael and Ben again, and to be able to share it at this time. Like literally anti-Semitism was crazy the weeks leading up to City Center, and we were just like,
Yes.
oh my God, like this feels like the right moment to share this story. And I remember coming home from our 7 rehearsals, and then talking to my boyfriend and just being like, oh my God, I think it's good, I'm nervous but I think it's good, which is a great feeling to have as an actor. You never know though, like the room can feel really good and then it can just not translate to an audience.
Yeah.
But the dress rehearsal happened and we were like, "Oh shit." Like that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like you can hear a pin drop. And if you can hear a pin drop at City Center, like you're really doing something.
Right.
It's a horribly large theater for what we were trying to do. And I feel, people in the balcony like literally had a different experience. What they've said to my face is they've had a fine experience. They just didn't see everything, which is fine, but it's hard. You want it to feel so intimate. You want them to feel like you're a part of the trial in a way. And so
Yeah.
I'm so lucky. I'm so excited we get to do it again for audiences. It makes me want to cry. I'm so happy and thankful that, people want to see it. And they were like, once City Center happened, it was just like so fast. Like we knew right away. It was crazy. Everybody, like, we were like, oh my God, we're going. Like it was wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, it's so exciting. First of all, for anyone listening, this whole story was basically to tell you that Michaela Diamond is now only offer only. So thank you so much. Broadway's Michaela Diamond, everyone, is only offer only. Okay. Anyways, I had that in there for a minute ever since you said it. I love that. No, but I saw it at City Center. Absolutely loved it. Came on here, raved about you and the whole show, like totally with you, because I was one of those people in the balcony and I was just like, I had a completely different experience, but it was amazing. Like, like,
Good. That makes me so happy.
yeah, like, no, this I mean, you guys did so much with so little, and you had that tiny little like stage basically where your like platform was the stage, and then the fact that like the orchestra was on the stage, and like the piece is just so strong that you don't need to distract it,
Mm,
like you don't need to make it busy on stage, and you don't need to do any of that, especially at that time with everything that was going on in the world, like it was just so real and so intimate, like and so just simple, and it just got the message across, and it was just so beautiful. I always say the simpler the better. But I mean, that may be just me. But yeah, it was amazing, and I'm so glad that more audiences are about to see this show and in a more intimate space. I think it's going to work really well. I'm excited. I'm
Me
very excited.
too. Me too. You and me both.
I saw this incredible little promo that went around the day that it was released. So then I think is it Michael Arden? He may have posted it, where he was like, "This was like at 8:30 in the morning in Brooklyn, and these they sung live." Like talk to me. Like, what was that? Like, was that actually you actually sang live there? That wasn't like a recording or anything.
Yeah, we probably sang the song like upwards of 30 times. But
No,
well, because they had to get, coverage for all the
all
different
the
shots.
angles. Oh
But I
god,
have to say it was it was it's funny because we both were like, yeah, we have to sing live. I've just seen Ben and I have seen too many promos where you're like, oh, they're lip syncing. It's like we do it 8 times a week. Let's just sing it live.
right,
And luckily, Ben and I not only love that song, but it's easy for us to sing like that. If we have to sing that duet at events for the next year, fine. Like
right,
it's so much easier than like Song for the Lonely. Like Jesus Christ,
right,
we're like
right.
we're like topping at a C. So, but yeah, we went, and of course when we fight for that, like we get there, it's like there's no heat because of the sound,
Oh god.
so it's like freezing in Brooklyn. But it was like so fun. It's such an experience. It's like now a memory, and I loved
Yeah.
it. Like it came out cool, and everyone loved it so much. And
So beautiful.
it really is like this like cute little like factory in Brooklyn, and it looks like a pencil factory. I was like, this is amazing. I did see one comment that made me laugh so hard. That was like, someone was like, "Isn't he in jail at this point? What are they doing?" Or something.
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Dude, it's a promo. Like, it's okay. Like, see the show, you know?" Crazy.
Right. It's just to get people excited, you
I
know?
know, like, people love to have, like, the hot take. It's wild to me. Like, Ben has been a part of that, like, hot take situation for a long time, and I'm,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
kind of new to this, like, people want a hot take on our show. I'm just like, "Oh my god," like, it's crazy. It's so wild to experience it. I just have to, like, kind of laugh it off sometimes, but it is kinda wild.
For sure. Yeah. No, people, it's just like, the world that we live in now. It's just like the cancel culture, the whole like hot takes. It's like everything's got to be they have to find something, and it's just
Leo
like let
Leo
it be.
Leo's in jail at this point in the plot, guy. Like, don't they know that? Like, he's in jail.
Come on.
I'm like, "G
Clowns. No, just
it's
kidding.
called
Love you all.
it's called a heightened moment, okay?"
Right. No, oh my god, just so too much.
No, we love you.
Um
Having hot takes, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we love it. Just come see the show. Yeah,
The
no, come
show, yeah,
support.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And now like the city center cast, like you guys are like I guess there's gonna be new cast members and everything like that, right?
Yeah, everyone I guess I can say this, but everyone got the offer. Of course, a lot of people had
Oh, okay.
conflicts, and so, yeah, we're having some new cast members join us. I think, like, 10 or something like that, and, of course, there's a bunch of swings that have to join the company,
Yeah,
but
and it's
I'm
not limited, right? It's like an
it
open
is.
ended for now, right?
No, it's limited.
Oh, it
Yeah,
okay.
we're doing it till August 6th.
Oh, so y'all really need to get there
Gotta get
before
those
then.
tickets in, and man, did we
Yeah,
I'm so happy that people wanna see it. Like, we literally sold so many tickets the
yeah.
first 2 days that Telecharge was open. It made us so happy. We were like, "Oh my god, like, this is amazing." People wanna
Oh,
it makes me happy too for, like, Jason, Robert Brown, who, if you know Jason's work, like, it's so beloved and culty, like, everyone loves it so much, but to be honest, it hasn't necessarily gotten its due ever on Broadway,
right.
and so, I don't know, I'm happy for him, I'm happy for everyone who did the original because it's like, they put in a lot of work and now it's like finally people wanna listen, it's beautiful.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really happy that people wanna see it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm curious because you talked about, like when you found out that Ben was your Leo, you were like, I just shit my pants. So, were you a fan of Ben before joining Parade?
Yeah, I mean, who isn't a fan of Ben,
Yeah.
like, I loved his work, I think he's a super special performer, and I think as an actor, when you watch him, like, of course, you're like, "Oh my god, it must be so easy to act with you because you can just
Yeah.
kind of react," but he, he's amazing and, is gonna be my rock throughout the process. He's, like, the kindest human being,
Oh,
and we love the material and love each other so much. It's, like, so I just I've said this before, but I have a crush on him. Like,
yeah.
it's so easy for me to, like, slip into those eyes and all the waste of time. I'm, like, blushing, every time he's around
Oh,
the corner. Um, but yeah, I love him. I of course, I've been such a big fan.
yeah.
I think this is the perfect show for him to come back to Broadway with. Like, I think it's so brilliant. We
Yeah.
went to the theater the other day and just to see the space and feel our dressing rooms out. And,
Yeah.
it's wild because he was just like a boy in a candy store, like, he hadn't been in a
Oh,
theater for 6 years that he was, on the
wow.
stage for, and it's like, that's a long time when it's what you do, what you love best in the whole world, and, um, I'm just, like, so happy he gets this particular role for the comeback,
Yeah. Yeah. You can see his passion for the role on stage. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
both love it so much.
Yeah, For sure. The whole cast, I mean, I can't say it anymore. Like that City Center cast was just ridiculous. Like it really was. It was just so good.
Cream of the crop.
Um,
My goodness, I'm the luckiest girl.
I know. Oh my god, I love it. Well, huge congrats on it all and everything that you've done this far in your career. I mean, it's early and I cannot wait to see what's next. If it's cool with you, can we play like a quick little 1 minute game that's like a speed round question?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, cool. This is called like a few of my favorite things, or a few of your favorite things, I guess we
Okay.
could call it. Okay. So, fave share costume.
Oh my god, my beat goes on, when I chuck the Oscar up.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking
fierce.
about? Yeah, great.
Yep, yep. Fave Ben Platt song.
Oh my god, oh god.
We can cut it out.
I actually have one, but I need to look it up and you can cut this part out.
Okay, great.
I'm gonna know it as soon as I see it, but I'm literally obsessed with it. I listen to it all the time. Hold, please.
Oh my
Hold.
god, I love it.
Oh, what? Yeah, okay, okay, I got it. Oh god, I love so
Okay.
many. Grow as we go.
Yes. Oh my god, so good. Favorite JRB song.
Ooh, baby. I think I have to say, I mean, forgive me, Parade, but I love 1 second and a million miles. Is that the name of it?
Oh,
1 second and a million miles away? 1 million million seconds and mile.
which one's that from?
From Bridges. It's like the big love song.
Oh. Oh my god. I always forget that he wrote
I'm
that.
speaking
Makes sense.
Pascal.
Amazing.
Wait, 1 second. Yeah, 1 second and a million miles.
Oh my god, killing it. You're doing great. It's me. It's me. What is your favorite? Okay, so you're in parade. So what's your favorite Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade performance?
Just because I'm a savage and this is the only one I can think about lately. But Sky, what's her name? Macy's Tapper. The woman who she's a dancer. She did the tap thing and like was not tapping. Thank you. Paula Abdul, because I'm a fucking
I
savage.
can't. I can't.
She'll
I
never
can't
hear
even
it.
speak right now.
She'll never
That
hear it.
is everything. That is everything. Great answer. Favorite show of the season.
Mm,
I know it's hard. There's a lot of good ones this season.
there are a lot of good ones. Let me just think. I did love Kimberly Akimbo.
Yeah.
What else is on? What other plays are on right now?
Plays or like shows in general?
Plays. I mean, I will say Downstate was the favorite thing I've seen in the past, season.
Oh.
And that was a play at Playwrights. I love
Oh.
that. But musical wise, I did love Kimberly Akimbo. Um,
I love that.
gosh, yeah,
No, it's so good.
there's a lot of good ones this season.
So many, so many. What's your favorite role slash like what's your dream role?
Sally Bowles.
Oh, I like that.
Like both are my favorite show, favorite role.
Oh my god, amazing. Yeah, well that's all I have for you. I could see it. Let's make this happen. I say we make that happen. Sally Bowles would be amazing. Oh my god, that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Um Yay! Oh my god. Well, Micaela Diamond, everyone. I mean, go see her in Parade. I'm so excited for the show to be on Broadway and for more people to experience it and see it. Michaela, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and giving me your time today and chatting with us. So I know a lot of people will love this. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Come see
Yeah, of
me.
course.
Yay.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be back. I'll definitely be back at Parade. Love the show.
Yay.
Love everyone in the show, and especially now that you're doing this, I definitely have to come see you again. Now that like I've gotten the chance to chat with you, very
Yeah.
exciting.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely deserve to take a bow. Take a bow, Michaela Diamond. Yay!
Thanks.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
So fun. Thank you so much.